Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote into chat. Dude Wants His Rug is here. Harold is here. Harold is, of course, also hosting. Thank you, Harold, for that. Some people may have seen an ad if you're watching this live on Twitch. You might not have. I literally don't know anything about it. I run an ad before the stream starts now. I can run one after. They opened up ads for affiliates. I'm sure that what I'm supposed to do is when I think I've hit peak number of people watching, when I've hit my peak viewers, I'm supposed to jab in that ad right there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it at the beginning of the stream and end of the stream. Uh, for now anyway. That's what we're going to do. Lashbrook's here. Hi, Lashbrook. All right, I have more than two. Right now, Twitter dashboard is telling me I have 2 viewers, and 3 people have chatted, so Twitter dashboard is lying to me. That's fine. We are in the pre-build portion of the show where we're just hanging out. We're checking in. We're waiting for latecomers to come by. People that, 9 o'clock on the dot. Whoop. That was my own voice because I opened up another tab and it was the stream. There you go. There's a little bit of Pat with Pat. Yeah, that's telling me. Solf is here. Hi, Solf. That's telling me there's 6 viewers right now, which is great. But yeah, we'll hang out for a little bit. Saturday's always a little light, which I understand. It's a Saturday evening. People have plans. We are getting into the part of the year where people will go places and do things on a Saturday evening instead of just not leave their apartment and relax and enjoy themselves on a Saturday night. They might want to go to Halloween parties. I believe those are starting up this weekend. They might want to go to, holiday parties. Some people do their end of year parties in November to beat the rush, and I get that. For me, today was all about maxing and relaxing. It was about sitting on my butt for as long as possible, which I did for as long as I could. I did go out into the world. I had grocery shopping to do. I went to the grocery store that is farther away from my apartment than the one that's right near my apartment because the one near my apartment is missing a very important piece of food item that I need. That's a wrong phrase. The grocery store that is right near my apartment is very convenient, and I'm very happy it's there. But it doesn't have some things that I like to have. And every once in a while, I got to go to a grocery store that's a little farther out of my way and get what I need. In this particular instance, that's Hidden Valley Ranch because that is my favorite ranch dressing. And the grocery store right near me does not sell it. And the one that is a little farther away does sell it. Occasionally, my local grocery store will have it, but they have the odd varieties of Hidden Valley Ranch, like the one that adds avocado or the one that adds cucumber, neither of which I enjoy. I like the original. That's something about me and my tastes. But yeah, so today I went to the grocery store that is far away from me. And by far, I mean it takes an extra 5 minutes to get there. And that means 5 more minutes of walking back with stuff, No cranch? No, no, Lashbrook, no cranch. No, look. Will I eat other salad dressings? Of course. Will I eat salad dressing that is a different brand of ranch? Of course I will. But I had the time today. It was good to get some exercise and catch some ghost Pokemon, which showed up. There's some new Pokemon out there. I caught one and I hatched one, so I got some new Pokemon. I walked to the farther grocery store, got what I needed, and it was fine. My local grocery store is great in many ways. If it carried the salad dressing that I like, it would be pretty perfect. They're open decent hours. They have a good selection of foods. They often have the cheese I like on sale, which is great. Recyclables here. Hello, Recyclable. Welcome, welcome. Lashbrook, I'm glad you're here. Of course, obviously, I'm glad everyone's here. But we're working on our Asteroid Blue frame. We're going to go to the overhead in just a minute or two. But, I do like to give time for people to come late. Recycle just cheered the Terminator 560, apparently. There's a bonus. I don't know what that is, but you got a bonus by using that Terminator remote. I don't know, but thank you for the bits. Always appreciate it. Um, Recyclable, way ahead on that leaderboard. 10% more bits, apparently, if you use the Terminator remote. Why? I don't know. I do know that the Terminator is involved in some video game. Is it Mortal Kombat 11 the Terminator's in? Maybe it's another one, and I just don't know. Uh, Hello, Christian. Welcome. So here's the blue frame. Now, these are gold. It's hard. You can see it on some angles. And you might be thinking to yourself, Terminator on Mortal Kombat 11. Okay, yeah. You might be saying to yourself, Pat, in Gears 5. That's probably what the promotion is. The Terminator is in Gears 5. Okay. You're saying to yourself, Pat, this is what's the difference between the blue frame and the red frame? Both of them love swords. What's up with this one? There's a new movie, says Harold. Okay. The thing about this thing is that these are detachable, and you can hold it. My friend here has swords on his head, that are removable. Also, we'll build this later. You can't see it now because we haven't built it. These are part of the skirt, the side skirt, which are also weapons. So our friend here has head blades and belt blades, and also various blades on its backpack, which you can also use. Christian, yeah, it is like ear swords. I love a model kit. I love a suit of armor, a mobile suit that is very versatile. I love that so much. I also love when you take swords and you combine those swords. It's like the girl from a Cell world. Yeah, it is kind of like that. But instead of just having sharp things on the head, he's like, no, I just go like this, and then I have blades. Leo's here. What's up, Leo? Happy to have you here. So it's got head blades. Leo, you might have missed this. It's got head blades. This thing rules. I'm very into that. I love the head blades. I think that's an excellent thing. A Cell World was good. That was before I started streaming, so I never talked about it on stream. But yeah, that show's all right. That's all right. Another season would be cool. Leo, there is no command for head blades. As I've said, Nightbot, I have added useful things in Nightbot, and there are also things in Nightbot that are not useful, like Goose and Honk are not useful. But we don't have head blades right now. Maybe we will. Maybe on Monday, I'll have it. Nightbot say something when you put in head blades. Quick. Just before I started streaming, my friend Kirk D'Amato, noticed that I had posted last night a thing. So you wouldn't know Kirk. Kirk is incredible, a very funny performer, puppeteer. He's most notably that he's been on Actually several times. So if you watch the Dropout show Actually, or you watch on College Humor's YouTube the clips from that, you might recognize Kirk. He's a great dude. I postulated this, and we'll get into building in just a moment, but I want to say this because I think this is, I tweeted last night, putting it out there. Kirk says, which is his Twitter handle, and I should have a ghost hunting show where we're both disappointed when there's no ghosts. So we just interview local weirdos. I'm a great interviewer, and Kirk is really insightful and quick. Our dynamic will be playful and supportive, and I can't stress this enough. We would be so sad about not finding ghosts. And he retweeted, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but I am afraid of not finding ghosts, which is a great retweet. So that's the thing. We're gonna go to the overhead, but that's the thing. There were other friends that were talking about last night about how it seems like just about anybody can get a ghost hunting show, and I was like, wait, I should have a ghost hunting show where I am immediately unhappy that there are not ghosts in the location that we went to. Like, we're here at this abandoned hospital. There's no sign of ghosts. All right. And honestly, while we would be earnest in our attempts to go and find ghosts, we would then immediately abandon that when we didn't find any ghosts and then just go and interview local interesting people. So, it would be adding work to the research team, because the research team would not only have to do research on the venue that we went to go look at, they would also have to find us weird people to interview or interesting people to interview. To me, that was always the best part of Dave Attell's show, was the interviews, because I don't, and in fact, am pretty much opposed to the idea of just being around a bunch of drunk people at a bar. Like, that part is not great. It was when he would go to a garbage treatment facility and interview the person working there, or would meet with like a town weirdie and just get like a cool interview going. That was the Dave Attell stuff that I liked. Not so much the, hey, look at these drunk people, let's talk to them at this bar. Like, yeah, I didn't really like that part. I also forget the name of that show, but it was Dave Attell show. The idea was that was like after he would do stand-up in a city, that he and a camera crew would go to a local bar, and then hijinks would ensue, which is a pretty good premise for a TV show. Up All Night? Yeah, that might be it, Lashbrook. I believe that is right. Insomniac with Dave Attell. Solf, yes. Yes, it was Insomniac with Dave Attell because it would start late. Up All Night is another show and might also be a Dave Attell show. But this was Insomniac with Dave Attell, yes. And that's a good premise. But that's kind of like where we would start, right? So the start of every episode is us being like, here's information about this haunted place. Here's what we know about this haunted place. Kirk and I are here, and we're excited to meet these ghosts and see what's up. And then we'd be like, okay. And then there'd be like confessional video of me being like, I really hope we find a ghost this time. I hear that this one is, there was a fire in this factory and a bunch of people died, and that's awful. And I hope that the ghosts want to talk to us. And then like Kirk will have something, to say, and it'll be, what he's excited about or whatever, or another fact about it. And then we like look around and we're like, well, we didn't find any ghosts. And then like it cuts to us interviewing the town's theater that only does puppet performances for children, like a puppet theater. And we're like interviewing the people that work at the puppet theater. And we're like, cool, cool, cool. And then maybe we might even go, hey, do you know any place that's haunted around here? We might not even get there, because it really will just be an interview show about fun people or local oddities. Like that's the premise. I am in Oh, Harold just 150. Come with me if you want bits. Indeed. Thank you very much. That was a bonus bits as well. Harold pushed his way in the leaderboard there. Thank you very much. As always, earnestly and honestly appreciated. Your support helps a lot with me continuing to do these things. But yeah, I just think that would be a fun show. And then maybe we would find ghosts. I don't know. What I was saying is, there's a a short. It was like 4 or 5 episodes where I guessed in one episode of web series as that was a web series, a comedic web series about ghost hunting. And then I was also in the pilot episode of what ended up being a web series, what was going to be a web series about ghost hunting. That was fun to be in. But they were both like parodies of ghost hunting shows, because that felt like the thing you do on YouTube. If you're like a comedian making parody videos, then eventually you have to make your own. I mean, that's what Nick Kroll ended up doing, right? He took Bobby Bottle Service, a recurring character, and put Bobby in as a ghost hunter because that felt like the goofiest thing to do with that character. Take him out of the club and make him a ghost hunter. Just felt like a good, silly idea, which I fully support because it was funny. Um, I probably talked about this on stream. My do's and don'ts. Um, that one. So there was a web series that I got asked to be a guest in that I was very happy to do, which, as I said, involved was a like it was about ghost hunters. Fun fact: one of the people who was a regular character in that web series um, is Taylor Moore, who is now well known for being one of the people that was fired by Kickstarter for trying to start a union in Kickstarter. He was so yeah, that's my friend Taylor, who's a New York comedian who ended up getting the day job working at Kickstarter, and was fired for quote unquote performance. You need more Mirio in your life. Hello, Not Ground Style. Happy to have you here. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so the other series I did it was a pilot, right? So I got sent a script. They said, hey, there's no money in this. It's a web series. We're doing the first episode of it to kind of see if there's interest in us doing more of them. Here's your part. You are probably the voice of reason. You definitely don't necessarily believe in ghosts. You're on this ghost hunting team. And I was like, this is very fun. It was a lot of improv, and I am happy to do that, and I was interested in that. And yeah, I got to be the voice of reason, and I would say things like, like we'd be like, all right, now let's split up. And I'd go, we have one camera. And they'd be like, yeah, and we're going to split up. And I'd be like, we have one camera. We can't split up with one camera. Who should I go with? And it would be like that kind of thing. And there were like shots of me playing like my Game Boy or my Nintendo DS or being on my phone as people are like trying to communicate with a cat or some silly thing. And it's pretty funny, and I had some fun lines in it, and I liked it. I wore an odd hat that I was happy to wear, and my trench coat, and I was happy to do that bit. So we shoot this thing, right? Asmo's here. This has been a while since I could catch a stream, but hi, Pat. Hello, Asmo. I'm happy to have you here. Yes, welcome. As always, of course, welcome. Happy to have you on board. I'm building an Asteroid Blue frame. I've got some of it done that we started on Thursday. These are removable. It's got head blades, and you can use those blades, which I love. I'm having a little trouble getting this assembled here. We're working on it. We're getting it going. So this web series, right? I get asked to be in it. Sounds cool. They want to shoot the first one. Fine. I see a copy of it. Looks good. It's funny. And then on Facebook, I'm friends with one of the other people in it, and I see someone say, hey, I backed this. And then there's an Indiegogo to raise money to be able to, get location and all the stuff they need to do to film this web series. Now, at no point when I agreed to be in this series and do this first episode, did they say anything about them doing an Indiegogo or trying to raise funds or anything. They didn't say, hey, we're going to use stuff that happens in episode 1, or use episode 1 as like a proof of concept to try to get more episodes. None of this was said, right? None of this was said. They just did it, and they didn't even do the thing which you think they would do, which is like try to use us to promote it, like have us tell our friends and family, hey, I'm doing a web series, you should back it. Please give us money so we can keep making it. Here's a link to the first episode. They just did it. And I email and I go, hey, I've looked through my emails. At no point when you asked me to be in this web series did you say anything about raising money? And then you also didn't tell any of us that you were doing this, or if you did, you didn't tell me. And you also didn't like ask if that's okay, because it you should have. And I was fucking mad. I don't often do this. I stopped what I was doing. I wrote like 4 drafts of this email. I like made sure that I was getting my point across without like as best I could, like making it clear that I was unhappy without like really being like an asshole about it. But I was not happy. And I think I was justified in being unhappy about it. So, guys like, oh, I'm so sorry. I told a couple people about this, and the production team was just so excited about getting started. We didn't even think about it, but we wouldn't have kept going if whatever. And you don't have to be in the show if you don't want to be in the show. And it's like, well, I'm in the promotion. I'm in the promotional video of it. I was like, you gotta tell me these things, and you might be surprised to find out they didn't raise much money, and we never continued the project. And I don't think it was just because myself and a few other people who were involved were like, we're not super comfortable with this. But also, like I said, if you're going to do this thing, you got to tell people so that they can help you promote. That's by far the weirdest. I'm having a lot of trouble with this. I'm sorry, folks. I'm having a lot of trouble getting this connected. Oh, it's on the outside. Is it on the outside? It is on the outside. Okay. That's why. Okay. Instructions on this are bad, and I was having trouble figuring this out. This goes like this. Okay. I got it. I'm sorry, y'all. There's a little hole there in the inside, and I thought the piece that I was trying to get in there locked in there. It actually locks lower because it slides, and I'm sure there's some sort of indication to that I just didn't understand. All right, I think I got it now. Sorry about that. That just was me like not understanding. So one thing I will say this. So I get asked now and again. I would guess more before years ago to be in things, right? And a lot of times it's like, hey, we're shooting this thing. Now most of the time, we're shooting a comedy video, we're shooting a music video, we're shooting whatever. We'd like you to be in it. Here's the thing. And I'm like, cool. But occasionally I'm making a short film, or I'm making a mockumentary, or I'm making a pilot to hopefully, and this is part of the pilot presentation. We're going to do a version of it, right? I haven't done a lot of those. I've done them, right? Most of the time, they don't go anywhere. Occasionally, they get like to meeting phase, or, well, we're going to record it now with money, and so whatever. But there's a lot of stuff that I just never seen because, like, I'm in a short film that I got paid to be in, which is great. I was very happy about that. But the guy hasn't finished it. I shot it like 5 years ago. And I remember running into him at something and being like, hey, whatever happened with that? And he went, oh, yeah, I have to edit it, and I got a job. I got like a good job, so I just haven't done it. And it's like, oh, okay. I guess it didn't really mean a lot if you didn't get to the point of doing the thing. Okay. Or someone will be like, oh, yeah, well, we showed it internally, and they went in a different direction. Oh, yeah, I can send you a link if you'd like. And then I can, like, see it on a link, right? And then they don't get back to you, or I forget about it too, that kind of thing. Because I like to see those things. And in some instances, there are things that, like, if I was going to update my reel, well, I can't because of various reasons of, like, well, no, actually, we can't, that's internal use only, or whatever, or we're going to try to sell it later, so please don't, blah, blah, blah. Lots of different reasons. I try to be understanding of those things. One time, a friend of mine goes, "Hey, I saw you in this cool video on um, on Funny or Die. Great job." And I'm like, I've been in a couple Funny or Die videos, but those were a while ago. At the time, I was like, what video did you see me in? And they sent me the link, and it's a thing that I shot like a while ago. Oh, hello, Lord Crashington. Happy to have you here. So this was a couple years ago. I shoot this like pilot presentation, right? This guy's got an idea where it's Drunk History, right? Drunk History started as a web series, part of a competitive show, and it got spun out into a TV show, right? So this guy had saw it in LA and was like, I'm going to do my own Drunk History. Now, it's not, the idea was instead of get someone drunk and then recreate what they said, it was drunk stories. It was embarrassing stories or drunken nights. And then while they're telling the story, they're sober, or maybe they drink a little bit, but they're not. The idea isn't that they're at, right? So it takes away one of the core conceits of it, but it was probably going to be easier to shoot. So this guy gets someone to tell a story, and then I'm in the video in the reenactment. We shoot it, and it's a little bit of money, and it's fine. My big takeaway from that is learning after the fact that because I don't drink, they've got me shots of a dark liquid, which is just soda syrup. Well, that's a lot of sugar. Just having soda syrup, like cola syrup, is a lot of sugar. So I got pretty hyper. And then on the drive back from where we filmed, totally like fell asleep because I just crashed. So I was like, oh, okay, I've learned that about myself. That's a fun fact about me. Okay. All right, so we can put these aside. We'll put this here. Just there, that there. So anyway, we shoot this thing. It's fine. It's funny enough. Hello, Ultron. Happy to have you here. Great crew of folks here tonight. So many great regulars. So anyway, we shoot this thing. It's fine. A friend of mine's in it, so at least I get to hang out with my friend while we're shooting it, and it's whatever. It paid a little bit. It was a fun day. Don't hear anything, right? It's a pilot presentation. Most likely, this person isn't like attaching any of us to the project, and in fact, would probably just have a bunch of people doing it and wouldn't necessarily have regulars. So I don't think I'm ever going to see this footage, right? And that's okay. That's part of it. Sure thing. Well, come to find out, a friend of mine, as I said, goes, "Hey, I saw this video of you on Funny or Die." The guy uploaded the thing to Funny or Die because it didn't go anywhere and he wasn't going to do anything with it. So then I emailed everybody else, "Hey, this is on Funny or Die. Here's the link." Because the guy who put it up there didn't email the people that were in it, like myself, to say, like, "Oh, hey, so nothing went with it." So then I emailed the guy. It's like, "Hey, I saw the video. Turned out great." Just to kind of him being like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I was meaning to send people an email. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you liked it. You were great." It's just like, you could have just sent an email. There are a couple of things that I'm in that I really want footage of. My friend Eliza filmed a sketch that apparently turned out really bad. Like, the audio isn't good and the lighting isn't good, so she's never going to do anything with it. But I know the takes I was in were really funny. We filmed at like a park, and we filmed in a way that made it look like we were in different sections of a sporting event. And the whole sketch is the premise is just that it's people who shouldn't be on the Kiss Cam or the Jumbotron. So it's just different people, like whatever. And mine is with myself and a friend of mine, and it's like very clear that we are having an argument, and then we see the Kiss Cam, and then I'm like, no, I'm like yelling, like, no way, you can't hear me or whatever, and I'm like mad about it. the idea of like, you want us to kiss? What are you talking about? And like, I know our segment was funny, and like I know that this was like 10 years ago, so I know I'm never gonna see it, and that always irks at me a little bit because I'm like, I know that bit was good. Uh, and there was another one of like people like kissing for the first time. It was very clear this was like their first kiss, and like the awkwardness of that because it was for the kiss cam, and like it. I'm sure it was going to end up being pretty funny, but uh, it wasn't my video to share, so the fact that it doesn't exist anywhere like always kind of bummed me out. She was just like, "No, it didn't. It didn't turn out good." It's like, okay. Um, yeah, that's always a bummer, but like that's why you got to do your own projects, right? Like I'm in charge of my stuff. If anything that I make doesn't exist out there for you to see, it's because I make the choice that it doesn't exist anywhere because it's my vision and like it's my work, right? Um, I'm going to PAX Unplugged in December. I'm going to do improvised postmortem uh, with tabletop and card game ideas. It's not in a streaming room, so you won't be able to watch it. But I will film it and put it online. Now that allows me to not put it online. If the filming is bad or if the panel isn't great, I now have the control to be like, actually, no one gets to see this. I don't think so because while I cannot confirm many performers, I can tell you that Trin Garitano and Tom Dyke of Chicago fame will be there, of cool things in Chicago. And Trin has promised she'll actually come and not double book herself and cancel. So that's good. Uh, and I am booking other folks, and I'm excited about that. Um, Unplug's always a little weird because there just like aren't a lot of people that I know. There are a lot of people there, and there are a lot of cool people doing things, but they aren't necessarily people that I generally associate with. Lord Crescent says Trin's great. Trin is great. I'm reaching out. I cannot confirm anything, but I am reaching out to some people that I know are going. The Trin train, indeed. Trin Garitano, very funny, great person. It's going to be great on the panel. But yeah, I've been reaching out to a few different folks that I know are going, and I'm trying to find out if more people are going to be there that maybe I don't know are going, and try to book that out. And we'll see. I'm probably listed as being on a Friday night panel. The folks at Smack Talk Showdown, the wrestling themed card game, card battling game, invited me to be on a panel, and it's Friday night, and I said probably not. My plan right now is to just take take a bus or train on Saturday and just make a day trip of it, and possibly stay overnight and come back on Sunday, but most likely just make one day of it. So the fact that I got invited to be on a Friday night panel, I'm like, probably not. Who knows? Maybe I can finagle a way to get down there on Friday. I'd like to be there more than just the Saturday, so I'm going to try to stay overnight and at least see some of it on Sunday. But right now, it looks like that's all I'm going to do, and we'll see. It could change. The video of Trin reciting the Polar Bear poem and dealing with a heckler is one of my go-to cheer me up right now videos. Trin is the best, and yes, and has pulled out that I know a poem bit very well. She uses a lot of times to cover time, which she was doing in this instance, and then I had to be like, Trin, I'm sorry that I yelled so much when that person started heckling you. I didn't mean to do that. I just literally cannot, my bones, my soul could not allow that to continue. I knew that she could handle it, because of course, she's Trin. She's great. But like literally, my very being could not allow the concept of someone trying to talk over Trin in that moment. And I was just like, fuck no. Not happening at all. I don't care if it was a wrestling show. Like, that's not the spot where you interrupt my friend who was just helping us in our moment of setup. I believe that, yeah, there was some kind of setup that was bad. It took forever. But yeah, Trin's great. Nobody fucks with Trin. Indeed, Harold, you censored yourself. I don't have to, and I refuse to in this instance. But literally, there are a lot of people that I will go to bat for, that I will go and support. That is kind of my thing. It's kind of my deal, as many of you are very aware. Being there for people, stepping up when necessary. It's kind of my thing. When it comes to Trin Garitano, that support is limitless. There is no limit to that. I will not back off when it comes to that. A few people there's like, yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, stop that. All right, cool, whatever. This is just like, nope, nope. We're not letting this go. We're not being nice about this one. Gotta support my friend. But yeah, that's the plan. Go to she's also endless well of positive energy. She is Lord Crashington. Trin Garitano is the best Trin and Tonic Trin and Tonic instead of Gin and Tonic. She's Trin and Tonic on Twitter. She and Jen Bain, the Bain Train, host the Friendshipping podcast, which you should listen to. Trin had me on a networking panel at PAX West, which was a fun panel, and we all got a lot of followers after that. I got a lot of followers who I think were looking for insights into gaming and not anime talk, self-promotion, and occasionally asking people for financial support. So I think that what started off as a bump in my numbers, which usually post-PAX I get a Twitter bump, right? Because people see my name at things, or they see me on Giant Bomb things or whatever, and they're like, oh, cool. Hell yeah, I'll check that out. Or it's like, oh, I didn't know Pat was on Twitter, or oh, I didn't know Pat streamed, which you think after 2 years I would have gotten the word out, but you'd be wrong. There's still a lot of people that don't know that I stream, which is bad. I need them to know that I'm a streamer, because maybe they would like this. So I always, but I always get a bump after a PAX. In fact, I hit over 7,000 followers on Twitter because of that bump, and now I've slowly lost them. I'm now under 7,000 again, which makes me happy that I didn't tweet about it. But because that's gauche. But I'll talk about it on the stream because I don't have a lot to talk about today. I'm not really experiencing a lot of things this week, and like I said, I talked about the thing I did today, which was go get groceries and sit around and just kind of veg out. It was good. Yesterday was kind of it wasn't tough. It was just long. Yesterday was long. Yesterday was the first day back at the Brooklyn Comedy Collective, the theater that I work at twice a week. And it was a good day, but it was my first day going from training at the new job to finishing training, getting some food, kind of vegging out, relaxing a little bit, and then going into my first shift at work back since we've come back to it. So that was fine, but it did feel a little weird, and I left pretty tired. And that's that's something a lot of people do, right? A lot of people go and work a job and then go to another job, right? I'll get used to it. Right now, that only affects me on Fridays and days where I cover, so it won't happen all the time. But it does mean that right now, as of right now, today is the only day where I don't work my day job or my side job. I work my third job, which is streaming. Uh, Next Wednesday, I'm doing all three, and that's going to be a real big test for me. Can I pull that off? I don't know. We're going to find out on Wednesday. So, if you didn't know, I'm going to put the schedule out, but I said some stuff. Next Wednesday, I'm going to stream on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time till 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is instead of streaming next Thursday. So I will stream next Wednesday, and then not stream on Thursday, and then stream on Saturday as normal. I'm doing that because I am covering on Wednesday and Thursday at the theater, and I booked those covers before I found out, the hours of this job. And I originally thought that the job I was working was 10 to 6, which it started 10. The training, I should say, is 10 to 6. Now, I can probably get out an hour early if I say, hey, and work around that. I can ask to work around that because it is just training. And if it's just self-review, I can probably get out of that. On Wednesday, I'm just taking a show, and it's a graduation show, so it'll be easy. So that way, I figured Wednesday was better to do work all day, stream, go to work. Thursday, if I tried to stream in between working all day, and then stream and then go to work on Thursday, which is what originally I was going to do. Well, on Thursday, I'm actually doing two jobs in one. I'm house managing and teching because of a bind that people are in. And I was like, I can't work all day, immediately stream, and then go do that. Like, I probably can do that, but I'm not going to do that. Gotta get in some veg time, says Leo. I have a friend that has been trying to get dinner with me, with me for months, because I usually have about 3 to 4 hours free after work, but after a 10-hour shift, I just don't have the energy to not only go outside, but carry a conversation face-to-face. Oof. Leo, I hear you. Look, none of what I do is taxing on my brain or my body. Yes, I'm doing this training for this thing. I'm learning a bunch of stuff, and they're drilling a lot of information into me, and that can feel overwhelming. But that's not. And I'm aware of that. But also, sitting in front of a computer, watching work training things, taking tests, reviewing things, throwing the webcam on for conferences, trying to ask questions to show that I'm where I need help with and what I need help doing and what I'm excited about. All that stuff is draining. And then streaming, right? Doing this. I've certainly done things that are more intense. But also, I don't want to say that what I'm doing right now is like nothing. It is something. Streaming is something that I'm doing that I'm happy to do. I'm pleased to do. I love doing. But I don't want to fuck up this model kit. And while you chat, and chat has been great tonight. Sometimes, hey, folks, and you know this, I never say you don't have, I always say this, you don't have to. Like Aristophan. Aristofan's not someone that comes in with emotes now and again, right? And I go, I know that Aristophan is here. Aristophan is a great supporter of the stream, right? Here a lot. Aristophan's not chatter. You don't see Aristophan jumping into conversation. And that's fine. I'm using Aristophan as an example. There are a bunch of you that don't do that. And that's fine. And I'm okay with that. And I always want to make that very clear. That, if you're not someone that wants to do that, it's okay. But when people aren't active in the chat, then I have to carry everything. And that's okay. I'm the one doing the streaming. I'm the one that's an affiliate that's asking for patron support and, Twitch subs and buying kits for me to build on stream and all that stuff. I'm the one asking that. So, yeah, it's okay if you don't want to jump in there. But it does mean that it's work. I'm still doing work. I'm still trying to think of things to say and things to talk about and keep the conversation going. And like the godsend of me getting back into anime around the time I started streaming again means that I like have a thing that every stream I can talk about. Now, that's going to suck for next Wednesday because I'm going to be working a shift and then immediately stream and try to watch a couple anime shows. Like during my lunch break, I'm going to watch a show so I can talk about it. Like I'll watch the Tuesday show, obviously. Like I would be better off if I was streaming on Thursday because I could watch them whenever. But like, I'll definitely want to watch something so that I have a thing to talk about on stream. But that's a very easy, small problem to have. Mostly, it's just like it's nice to have things to chat about with you, and it is work that I'm doing in order to do it. Leo says it all takes energy, physical, emotional, mental. You need some time to recharge. Yes. So like I said, next Wednesday, well, I say I'm streaming from 6 to 8, 6:30 to 8:30. It's probably going to be 6:32, 6:33, whatever, as normal. I'm probably going to stop before 8:30 because I have to be at work at 8:45, and that's fine, but I want to like start uploading the archive and go. So it means also that Wednesday I'm going to wake up and I'm going to set all this up, all my setup, and do all that. And then, like, be ready to go. So on Thursday, after work, before I go, I can sleep. Because my schedule for next week is 10 to 6:30 every day. Because, like I said, I originally thought that, let's see. Yeah, 10 to 6:30 every day. Because I originally thought that it was a 10 to 6 job, because I said 8 hours, but the state of New York, because their offices are in New York, is like, no, you got to have a half hour. And so that, I get a half hour break, got to clock out. Totally cool. So it really means I'm working 10 to 6:30 with a half an hour break. That break is awesome. I am not trying to tell you that break doesn't fucking rule. That break is great. I'm very happy to have it. But yeah, it does mean that like I'm going to have to be very careful about those things. And do my best to not do what I'm doing next week. Which is next week on Wednesday, I'm going to work, stream, work. I'm going to do my best in anything to not do that. And it's only because, like the idea was originally I got asked to work that Thursday shift like a month ago. And I said, sure, I'll just not stream on Thursday, I'll stream on Wednesday. Well, then I got asked to pick up that Wednesday shift, and I was like, no, I can't. But no one else can, so I'm going to. And that's not great. And I also thought about maybe streaming on Friday instead of Wednesday. And honestly, I'm going to call an audible next week. But, and let's be real about this stuff, the idea of not streaming on Monday and not streaming again to Friday, like, does hurt this. It hurts this whole endeavor. So, like, I'm not necessarily thrilled about the idea of taking that long in between. Whereas Wednesday to Saturday isn't the worst. But Monday to Friday is a lot of days. And then I work Saturday, then I work Friday, and then I'm, doing all that. Like, I'm like, meh. Because I also work on Friday, so it's still the same problem. I'd much rather on Thursday and Friday, I think, where I'm working harder, have time in between work and work. And like eat food, sleep a little, think about other things. Those sound cool. Or, in fact, the fact that on Thursday and Friday, or Thursday probably not, but Friday, I have to prepare things for my job, right? Like, because I'm a tech, people are going to send me their tech needs. And so that time in between, and then would it be great if people sent me their tech needs and I could do it during my lunch break? Sure. Are they going to do that? No. They're going to email me at 8 p.m. for their 9:30 show. Even if I've sent them an email ahead of time, even though that email is going to say, hey, I'm working a day job on Friday, so if you can send me stuff, the earlier you can send it, the better, so that I can, kind of like find time to do it throughout the day. They're still not going to do that because they're going to work on their own schedule. And I get that, and I understand that. So I really do need time in between. Thursday, not so much, because Thursday, the show that I'll be working on is part of the idea, part of the concept of it is that they throw it together. So there won't be tech ahead of time. They'll email me during the previous show if they have any tech, which is fine. It'll be okay. I work 9 to 6 because my company insists on hour-long lunch breaks. I hate it, says Not Ground Style. Not Ground Style, that sucks. I mean, it's that thing where, like, you wish you could do, not a day like, hey, what if could I do 9:30 to 6? Could I do 9 to 5:30 and just take a half an hour instead of this hour that I don't really need? But, they're not going to go for that. Just try to get some errands done or whatever. My bosses don't enforce our clock out break, so I might take 5 minutes to eat something in my truck, but at least I don't have to punch out. Leo, that's good. Yeah. I mean, honestly, right now, the period that I'm in right now, I'm in training still. So what I've been doing is I don't eat during my lunch break. I clock out and go grocery shopping, which I did on Tuesday, or go and mail something, go to the post office, or just catch Pokemon for 25 minutes, and then come back to my apartment, stretch a bunch, which I've been doing obviously a lot, and then my lunch I made before my shift started, I'm just going to eat while I do other stuff. But that half an hour, I've been quite often definitely not using that time and instead just fucking hanging out and doing whatever. Because that is better. I found. I don't know. I feel like half an hour lunch is too short. So half an hour lunch break is certainly too short if you are working in an office. If you have to account for an elevator ride, a half an hour is definitely too short. I'm working from home, so it would be too much for me to go out and eat, but it's not too much for me to go to my fridge, which is why I need more groceries so that I can make lunch. So generally what I'm doing is I'm getting up, preparing breakfast and lunch, putting my lunch in the fridge, and then, or leftovers if you don't even have to prep, and then going and doing whatever I got to do, and just kind of getting some of the work done ahead of time. And that's been pretty helpful so far. Today I was able to get GoDaddy to reduce their $300 a month malware security suite to $62 every 3 months for our website by threatening to drop them, says Ultron. They basically told me their basic security was useless after we found we got hacked. Ultron, that is good to know. Also, yeah. I mean, look, GoDaddy seems bad, has always seemed bad. As soon as I realized that I could just have whatever website I had redirect to Tumblr, I got rid of GoDaddy completely. Obviously, these are personal websites, but I got rid of GoDaddy as soon as I could, and then just started buying domains on Hover and redirecting to Tumblr. Now, does that mean that I have websites that now direct to Tumblrs that I don't update anymore? Yes. But also, I don't use websites anymore. I use Twitter. My last 404ing it, I didn't even post to Tumblr because I don't know anyone that went there. They just clicked on my Twitter links. So it was very frustrating, but also I'm glad to finally get fixed. Hopefully getting fixed by Monday. Well, Ultron, I hope you do. I hope you get your shit taken care of there, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with nonsense like that. That sounds not fun, and it's never fun. None of that stuff is never fun. But also, that sounds like you got them in a good deal. You forced them into a good deal. So congrats. E14. All right, we're gonna get a little more work done on this, and then we will move on to working to the pause for the cause. They're terrible, too expensive for bad service, says Solve. Yeah, I mean, that was my first domain site was GoDaddy. My first website was a GoDaddy site. I think I made in hot dog. Uh, so my first website was at the University at Albany. I had WebSpace and had a class in using like hot dog and other templates to make websites. And so I made a website on that, and then I years later did a WordPress that was like on a GoDaddy server. Uh, and then eventually, yeah, like now when I buy website domains, I just buy them on Hover and redirect them to Tumblr, or I'll get hosting for somewhere else. But yeah. When you Google searched us, it would redirect to Wiener Pills. That is bad. Unless you also sell Wiener Pills, which I don't think you do, Ultron. I think your company doesn't sell Wiener Pills, and clearly not the right ones. You never had a terrible angel fire site. Asmo, I never did. I had plenty of friends that had them, but I never had a terrible like Angel Fire website or anything like that. I had a AOL page for a bit. I was no one remembers PETAs. I'm going to say this: PETAs.com. You'd have a domain.petas.com, and it was a blogging platform, and you could do some HTML. I had a group one, and each of us picked a different color to post. So the text was different, so we knew who was posting, and it was like a group thing, and it was meant just for us. But I had I had a petas.com thing and a live journal and all that. But yeah, I never had an Angel File or a GeoCities or a tripod website. I never saw the need for it. I was never thought that would be necessary. And then then it was really nice having Tumblrs for projects like 404ing it and just my own Tumblr and all that. Like those were really nice to have, but I never expected them to be super useful. All right, so this is going to go this. All right, got that in there. That's good. I don't remember if I had a personal Angel site, but I definitely ran for a time an eFed site. Oh hell yeah! I was certainly on some eFeds. I never ran an eFed, Electronic Federation. For those that don't know, never ran one of them. All right, it's time for the pause for the cause. We're gonna do this now. We'll get into some anime talk soon. We'll keep working on this arm. We're gonna then build some shoulder armor. And if you're asking, Pat, does this shoulder armor have blades on it? You're damn right it does. This thing's all swords, so yeah. Anyway, first and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber here, is an eFed like a web ring? Ultron, I'll answer this real quickly. It's an electronic federation. It is a fantasy wrestling league. It's like fantasy football, but wrestling. And sometimes original characters, but other times you're running your own federation and or you're playing as characters. It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's like an online RPG. Sometimes people did it like fantasy booking. Sometimes people did it like it's text about your wrestling and the matches are random rolls and it's a whole thing. It's like doing White Wolf games, only wrestling. And it was a lot. And I did it a lot. Anyway, throw the Bear Cave or Lego or Scythe emote if you're a subscriber. Let the people know you're here. You're here to and you're supporting. Thank you very much for watching. Folks that don't, this is new to them. I will tell you that I'm just promoting myself for a little bit, and then we'll get back into building. If you are a currently subscriber, thank you so much. If you renewed, somebody renewed during this and didn't hit the notification thing, that might be because of iOS or your mobile browser. I know that they're fixing iOS, and you can now sub to people on that. They're fixing a lot of their apps, the mobile stuff. But if you can, and you renew or you subscribe, let the people know. It's great to see the numbers go up, but it's even better to be able to celebrate and say thank you for that, because it does mean a lot when people subscribe. Um, uh, I'm now going to go into my commands and throw some commands in there. I do have Nightbot working. We figured out a lot of that. But I have to remind myself what all of them are. So I have a Patreon. Uh, and you can subscribe to that Patreon by clicking the link. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you go to my show description of the episode, and it lists all of the links that we're talking about here. So patreon.com/PatBaer is the link if you want to see my Patreon. $1 a month gets a Q&A video that I'll be shooting next weekend. $5 a month, you get videos a day early. $10 a month. So when this is done, I have 3 kits waiting for me. I will build whatever the $10 patrons vote that they want to see me build next. So if they want to see me build the Shenlong, the new Shenlong from the manga, I'll build that. If they want to see me build the Sazabi clear that I bought in New York Comic Con, I'll build that. If they want to see a Batman Lego set next, I'll build that. They get to vote. That's because they give me $10 a month, so they get to do some voting. So that's the Patreon. You can if you want. Now, the only reason why I won't build one of those 3 things next is if someone buys something on my wish list, like this was bought off my wish list. Well, yeah, if you buy something off my wish list, that goes ahead of time. And then if I have multiple things on my wish list, then the $10 patrons vote for that. Real quick, we're just going through the ways people can support the stream if you like. I got some cheaper options like some small little Dragon Ball kits and some small Lego sets that will be fun to build. A Mega Constructs Pokemon set that will be fun. Some real grades, some high grades, various things. Expensive mobile suits. The Blue Destiny Kai, I like to build that because that's another thing that's very samurai inspired. It looks cool. Lots of stuff. Some death sites that are up there. A lot of them have Amazon Prime shipping. And always make sure that if you're sending something, let me know. Anonymous folks, it's always nice. But also, you can tell me. That's one way to support me. Another way is if you're like, well, Pat, I'd buy you a model kit you could build on stream. But I don't want to do it through Amazon. Well, you could buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store. Which, no, that didn't do it. So let's see why. There it goes. Okay, went through. You go to USA Gundam Store and buy an Amazon gift card. Ultron says the GP04 should finally arrive in October 29th, according to Amazon. Yes, Ultron bought me a thing that for some reason is being held in customs, and they knew it would, which it's most likely the shipping that Japanese company uses. So I'll talk about that once we get through. A very interesting thing about if you buy a kit from Japan. Ultron, you don't have to apologize. Thank you for buying me something off my wish list. I can't wait for it to arrive. I can't wait for it to build it in November. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. But yeah, USA Gundam Store, you can buy Amazon gift card. Send me the gift card. Or sorry, a USA Gundam Store gift card, and I'll buy something on there. You can also donate. These are 3 ways to donate. Thank you very much. These are ways you can donate if you'd like to. The Coffee, Streamlabs, PayPal. PayPal is probably the easiest. Streamlabs, a notification pops up because I use Streamlabs overlays. That's the information that is to the left and right here that says when people give bits and follow and all that. Also, there's the thing that pops up. That's all that. So those are ways to support. I have a Discord. I'd love it if you join my Discord. That would be neat. I'll do a couple more little promotional things, and then we'll get into talking anime, and I'll talk about international shipping as well. Patreon wishlist, donate. Oh, yeah. So now I got to go into that because these are not commands. Pat Baer's Anime Club, Episode 2. It came out on Monday. I do it every other Monday. It is new. as you can see in episode 2. I talk about the show that I'm most excited about this season, and then one that I'm a little worried about. The one I'm worried about is We Never Learn, which I'll talk about tonight, because episode 3 came out, and it was all right. It was okay. And then, oh yeah, my background and characters from Wednesday. Background and characters was fun. I think that one's good. My one next week is really short, but I think it's pretty funny. So I hope people like it. And that's it. I'll talk about this next. So, we're going to talk about anime in a little bit. I'll talk about 4 out of 5 shows that I watched since yesterday. And the 5th show that came out on Friday that I didn't get to, I will talk about on Monday. Yes, as Christian says, anime. But first, I want to talk about shipping. So, y'all know, when you buy something from Amazon, right? You buy priority mail from Amazon. They fulfill the shipping, right? You get a box. It's got Amazon stuff on it. The tape has Amazon stuff on it. Inside is the thing you ordered. And if it's like a model kit, like a box like this, it's a box. And there's some paper to keep it from moving. Maybe there's some of that bubble wrap. Leo says, oops, wasn't the shipping I thought I was. No, Leo, we'll talk about shipping, that kind of shipping when it comes to anime as well. I'm talking about physical item shipping, not character shipping, relation shipping, as they say. We'll get to that, Leo. So, water's good. I'm going to drink more. I'm going to try to drink more of it. I was happy to have that water. So yeah, so what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So that's usually what you get, right? And then you get packing things, and I save all the packing things. I think Hobby Link Japan and Gundam Planet should kiss, right, Ultron? I love that. That's very funny. So that's right. So that's the shipping. That's what we do there, right? We do all that. It's fine. Now, when you're buying something from... Oh, also, when I get something from Amazon, I save the box because that's how I mail things out at the end of the month for my mail. And then I also save all the packing material because that's very helpful because then I don't have to get my own packing material. I can just use that. If you've ever won a kit from me, you know that the box is big, the kit is small comparatively. I wrap the kit, I take it off parts that are easy to assemble again. That might be a little rough for transit. Wrap it together as best I can. I really pack it so that it comes to you good. Lego, I don't really do too much of that because it'll move around. But usually I have to separate pieces. But I do my best to accommodate folks to make your experience good. And I have all that material because I've sent it through because I have all this stuff, right? If you buy a Gundam or any mobile suit or anything from Japan, and it ships to you from Japan, it most likely will not be a box inside of a box. It will be a sleeve, the box, your box, and a packing bubble wrap sleeve, and then paper over that sleeve. Or sometimes there are things that are the wrap, and it's paper on the outside, and then you just do it and you tape it all together, and then it's taped well and then mailed. So it's not a box within a box. That's why I have boxes that have dents in them, because the kits themselves obviously aren't being shipped. They're the sheets. The sheets are usually fine. I've never had a sheet issue, but I have had a box just be dented to hell because it wasn't inside another box. And I'm sure that that's way cheaper because you're shipping internationally. I'm sure that's the only way they can do that, right? Is to just reduce cost. But it does, like, the first time I got something, I was like, what the fuck is this? Why is it wrapped like this? Who mailed this? And now I'm used to it. But at the first time I got one from Japan, like directly from Japan, I was like, what the fuck? Like, just give me my thing. What are you doing? It was a bit of a shock. But I will say that's still better than... So GameStop had a big sale, right? They had a big old sale on model kits a while back, and that's where I got the Naruto uh, model kit, which is great. I really like it. I wish that they did more. They have only done that in the Figurized line, just Uzumaki Naruto, late teen Shippuden Naruto. I would love a whole line. It's a great kit. Um, but they haven't done more of them, so I can't get more of them. Anyway, that's besides the point. Um, I bought that and like two other things, and they sent me a giant box and not much packaging material. The box was way too big for like clearly whoever is doing their shipping, uh, like is just a GameStop employee, and it was bad. It was not a good experience buying from them. Uh, that box was like bent to hell because there wasn't enough stuff inside of it to prevent it from breaking or like being busted up. It was like definitely taped by the post office, like retaped, and it was like it was a poor. It was one of the poorest shipping things I've ever dealt with. And then that Naruto box is dented because of that, which is a shame. All right, I'm trying to get this. Sorry, folks. Amazon and Best Buy ship a lot of stuff in bubble bags or cardboard boxes, so it's a huge gamble every time I order a trade paperback or a Blu-ray where there are bent, broken corners. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, Leo, I don't run into that too much with Amazon Prime stuff. Amazon Prime stuff always seems to be in Amazon boxes. Now, I'm not buying trade paperbacks or Blu-rays, which they must just do the bubble wrap cases for, or the cardboard bags. I'm not running into that a lot because I'm buying model kits. Uh, and in fact, having all these boxes is very helpful for the fulfillment stuff that I do for y'all, which is, which in case you don't know, if you don't know this, the last stream of the month, which will be Halloween this month, I give away one model kit to a random subscriber. It's a current subscriber at the time of me sending things out, and you don't have to be present to win. You just have to be a current subscriber. And I usually send out a couple things like a Lego set or a big model kit or something. But I'll always send one thing out. So did I fuck this up? Is that what's going on here? It's just not going in. Oh, there it goes. I got it. Okay. This took a while, but it went in. But yeah, I haven't really had to deal with the a lot of problems with Amazon anyway, shipping things. All right. Well, speaking of shipping, let's see. Is there any shipping in Dr. Stone? Oh, of course there is. So first and foremost, I'll put this here. This is a list of the 4 shows we're talking about. Of course, it is listed in the show description on YouTube before I check the fact. Dr. Stone, Food Wars, We Never Learn, and My Hero Academia are the 4 shows I'll be talking about tonight. I didn't watch Fire Force. I will watch Fire Force and talk about that on Monday. And I think that's probably going to be my Saturday thing. Generally is, like I might only do a couple shows because right now, for Monday, I only have 2 shows to talk about. So that way I have at least something else to talk about. It takes a little pressure off of me. And what I don't want my anime viewing time to feel like is homework, because even though I do talk about it on stream, it is fun. Mostly just like another fun thing to talk about. So, in general, I'm usually not super into flashbacks, especially flashbacks that don't involve the characters that are in the show. In this case, we learn a lot about Senku's dad. But also, holy fucking shit, how fucking cool was this episode of Dr. Stone? I mean, so there's a village, and the secret is the village is named after Senku's dad. And because Senku's dad didn't get turned to stone when everyone got turned to stone because Senku's dad was on a space station when this calamity happened. He was on a space station with like and yeah, and then they fell to Earth. I get like we don't know yet, but basically we haven't seen we know that the 6 people on the space station landed on Earth and started a village. And you can tell by some of the way they look. Like, yeah, there's some characters that looked American, and now we get to see that. But yeah, apparently Senku's dad started this thing and started a tradition, and he just seems like a hardworking, smart, cool, weird dude, and seems great. He's Senku with more humanity, because Senku is definitely on the spectrum, and and that those are not. I'm not saying my words right when I say that, because obviously, humanity was a poor choice in that. Um, more expression. He has more expressions, whereas Senku is very by the book, like thought processing to his detriment. He analyzes stuff and doesn't take emotions into account. Whereas Senku's dad seems to be more like well-rounded and more jokey and more fun. Uh, and it's like, okay, I'm psyched about all this. And this, so the 100 tales that these village have passed down from generation to generation. Apparently, one of the tales is about Senku. Because my assumption is that Senku's dad assumed that someday Senku would figure it out and like free himself. So he basically was like, I mean, he's going to save humanity, but he also apparently did some stuff to like set up to help out his son in the inevitable, his son waking up. Or someone down the line, maybe he thought somewhere down the line someone could revive him. It was fucking cool, and the closing theme was great, and it's just like, it was good and weird and fun, and like you get it. You can, I mean, the art style is the art style, right? Characters look similar, but you can see how apparently over the generations, like where these characters met up, and I'm sure that they also must have found some people as well, because I don't think you can have that disparate a gene pool with 6 people. I mean, I'm no scientist, but I mean, luckily there's 3 gentlemen and 3 ladies, uh, so that's good. But yeah, also, before everybody was turned to stone, Senku was already investigating the petrified birds. Yes. Also, this anime acknowledges that Twitter exists, which is great, because when some sort of calamity is happening and they're like freaking out about it, the first thing they do is, and they can't get any news or anything, they look for live cams and live cameras, and when they can't find that, they look to see what people are saying on Twitter, and apparently, like, all tweets stopped at the same time, which is really cool and smart. Yeah, and a good callback. But, like, that's a logical thing to do, is like, oh, we should check Twitter, because that's how people report things. That's how you find out about, like, earthquakes before the news tells you, or the radio tells you about an earthquake. Twitter tells you about an earthquake. Like the rings on a tree, right, Ultron? Yeah. But you can also see, like, this is when the calamity happened, the moment it did, because this is when tweets stopped. It's interesting. But yeah, it was a solid, good episode of the show. I'm excited to see where it goes with this, the flashbacks, and then like what the Kingdom of Science decides to do with this knowledge, what Senku decides to do about his dad. And you can see young Senku, but yes, he also was reading reports about petrified birds, and of course was interested in it. Which then, years later, when he finds these petrified birds, he of course remembers, yes, I ran into this, and I know what's going on with that. I mean, don't know, no, but he remembers that. Uh, yeah, it's just good. It's a good show. You know, it was like light on action because it was all flashbacks, but it was solid. Solid episode, Dr. Stone. As I said, Fire Force would also normally be a Friday show I watch, but I didn't watch this one. I decided to watch. Last night I watched Dr. Stone, and I watched the next one I'm going to talk about, and then today I watched my 2 Saturday shows because that felt like a thing I should watch. Um, so the other Friday show that I watched is another solid show. I'm talking about Food Wars, Fourth Plate. Uh, this was great because like we're starting to see some characters we don't really know a lot about, but also some characters we do. So we got a little bit of who these people are and what they're into, and some more motivations because character motivations are always appreciated. We always look for character motivations, uh, and it was just a solid episode. Uh, it did feature uh, another foodgasm, which I am should be on record as stating do not love. I do not love foodgasms on that show. Uh, the cool guy keeps on freaking me out. The copy guy fucking rules, man. Him copying everybody is so funny. It's played so well. It's always so expected. Perfect Trace, yes, Leo. Perfect Trace was great. But even the hard ass announcer character, like whatever. Him like his whole training, right? Like everybody else was doing Team Shogegekis, and he's not doing that at all. He's image training, trying to be everybody, and trying to like figure out what to do with everyone, and copy people. And it's like it was well done. It was a well done part of the episode. Um, uh, and then even like the idea that he image trained his own teammate to help out, Kuga, uh, because he could help out because he was just going to copy what his opponent did, and he didn't have to waste time thinking of what to make. He was just going to make what his opponent was making, which is really smart. I don't know how things are going to shake out with this, with what's happening, but it's interesting. Some good stuff. I'll say maybe I like last week's episode a little better than this week's, but not by much. It's good. I still want more Megumi because she's the fucking best. Because she's the best girl on the show. You know, it's a fun, sweet character. Just wants people to feel better. And should probably not be under all the pressure she's about to be under by being in this thing. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm also just excited to see. I also like these like characters that have such giant flaws. Like the sushi guy is still like the idea of Bushido is so important to him. The samurai looking dude was actually a samurai. Yeah, he's definitely a samurai, and that's complete and utter nonsense. Because he's like, oh well, if you're gonna copy me, you should use this so you can really copy me. And it's like, all right, dude, okay. He's like, oh, I didn't want to bring this into it. It's like, you totally did. I don't know. It was good. Like I said, that it was a decent episode. I was pretty happy with it. I'm already liking this half of season 4 way more than I liked the first half of season 3. So, kudos, and we're good. And then let's see. Okay, We Never Learn season 2. Good episode. This is Ogata episodes. Those that aren't following We Never Learn. We Never Learn is a fun romantic comedy series about a tutor who is tutoring some people. He's tutoring his childhood friend who has always had a crush on him because he's always been supportive and great, and she can see that, but she's never been able to act on that. Uh, and one of the girls that he's tutoring has a crush on him, Ogata, uh, who is a science whiz, who wants to be, who has trouble like reading people and identifying what they're interested, their emotions. So she's trying to get over that by focusing on literature. And then there's another girl who is, who's definitely like in another show would be the solo main female character, but in this show is just one of a few. She's great with the arts, but wants to get into science and has her reasons for that because astronomy and her family, and it's a whole thing. She does not have a crush on our main dude, but she knows about the other two crushes, and she is trying to be very supportive of that. And it's a fun show. There's other characters. There's a teacher that I don't like, and I wish was not in episodes. She was not in this episode, and that rules because, as I said, don't like her involvement. It was funny. They're still doing the like two stories thing, which is okay. First story is about Ogata cuts her bangs too short, and she mostly doesn't care, but for whatever reason, she really cares. She suddenly and she can't acknowledge what her feelings are. She doesn't understand why she's feeling this. She suddenly decides that because it makes her look younger, she doesn't want Nakariki, our main dude, to see her. So there's some hijinks with that. In one point, she's wearing a big mask. And then the reveal happens, and he doesn't know. He doesn't notice. He's like, yeah, my sister always says that I don't pay attention to fashion. He can't see that she changed her bangs, and that she looks younger. And it's just like whatever. And it's a fine little first half of the episode. It was cute. It's a fun little show. Second half, we learn a lot more about this minor character who clearly is in love with or wants to be the best friend of Ogata, but so it's an Ogata heavy episode, and she's my favorite character. I dropped something. She's my favorite character on the in the show, so for her to have both stories, I was very happy about because she's just great. So we have another episode with the girl. She wears a lab coat. And she refers to everyone by their first and last name. She is How great is this? So, none of the main four girls, because there's also another girl that is like whatever. She's older and you meet her later. She's not in the normal, so she's in their high school. She already graduated. The three high school girls and the high school guy. None of those girls are tsundere. The teacher is tsundere. But the girls aren't, and I'm fucking so psyched about that because I don't like tsundere characters because it gets old. So that they're not tsundere, so none of them are tsundere. The girl that is tsundere is the girl that clearly has strong interest in, if not romantic, then friendship interest in Ogata. She wears a lab coat. We find out a lot about her, about how she was inspired by Ogata, not caring what people thought, and then Ogata's like, oh, I always thought that was a deterrent, but you're saying that one of my weaknesses is a strength. And it's just a really cute episode, and even though she's clearly in love with him, it ends on a dumb note, but it's still a cute episode. It heightens friendship stuff. And a character that's very much a minor character still gets to have some moments in the show, and you get to learn about her, which I was really happy to because she's mostly just like a weird character that is definitely in love with Ogata, but also is aware, immediately aware that Ogata is interested in Nakariki because she's like, oh, you go be with him now. And it's cute. It was a cute episode of a show. As I said, this feels like this shouldn't be the second season. It's just a continuation of the first season. I'm waiting for the stories to become The full length of the episode is one long narrative story as we build towards like the end of the year. I don't know how far we're going to get there. I don't know how the romance stuff is going to go, the love triangle stuff. I don't know uh, if the third girl is going to develop her own feelings because of all of them, she actually has the closest relationship with him. So I don't know if that's going to lead anywhere. I'm interested to see. It's just a different change of pace show, and I enjoy it a lot. It's not the greatest show, but it is fun. Uh, People are going live with different things. Dave Lang's going live. After my stream's over, we'll raid Dave Lang. I don't often raid, but we'll raid Mr. Lang. I'm just gonna go and prep for that. You got the duplicate there because I didn't mute that. It just played. But yeah, we'll go and raid Dave after we're done here. The Lang Zone. We'll enter the Lang Zone, right? All right. So I saw the fourth anime to talk about from this stream in this stream, My Hero Academia season 4. So I won't give a spoiler if you're behind on it. I won't say who died. Somebody fucking died. That's all I'll say. A character died, and now I knew this was coming, but I was still like, oh, holy shit. Because you often don't get that, and you don't have a character like it was a minor major, but it was still like a named person. Yeah, it was. It was like, oh wow. It was also really weird because like they had a very wholesome moment right before, like a trans woman friend telling them that like I'm stuck doing what people expect of me, but you can break free from it. It's like this whole very shocking moment that was really interesting and like, yeah. Right after the nice flashback, yeah, Christian, yeah, it was a very nice little moment. Some character development from a character that like has a cool power that was never super explored, and then you're like, yeah, that's over. Bye. It's like, oh shit, okay, all right, fuck. Yeah, it was over really fast. Yeah, she had a character moment, and then, oh no, you're done. Thanks for being here. So it was shocking. And then the episode is called Overhaul, and we are introduced to a character who at no point, Christian says, the only trans character. Indeed, right? Yeah. That we know of, obviously. But at the time, yeah. But the character is never referred to as Overhaul. I know that guy's named Overhaul, but that is not what we know. We don't know anything else. Maybe does one of the other characters call him that, or they just call him his name? Overall, it's a cool looking villain. And the idea that, the villains are S.H.I.E.L.D. should have known what was coming. I mean, it's a thing of like, they should be more aware of what's going on. Yeah. It was brutal. It was a brutal surprise. But overall, a good episode. His people call him Overhaul. Okay, Christian, yeah. Maybe they did call him Overhaul. But I feel like they named the episode and like, but they didn't No, I think the character. Yeah, I think the character, uh, the big guy that came in was Shield, or the guy that got killed, the other guy that got killed that we don't know anything about was Shield. I don't know, but overall, he didn't have like a freeze frame information about him. We'll get that, but we didn't have that, which they often do. You know, the like informative thing. Uh, and then that's the end of that part of the story. And instead, we're going to go on to internship stuff and pro hero training and the introduction of. They kind of gloss over it. But we meet the dude that if Midori hadn't met, if Deku hadn't met All Might, the guy that All Might probably would have given it his powers to, or at least would have investigated if he had, the guy that people think like would have been the guy. Yeah, Togeda, which is really weird because he is like a blonde-haired, goofy, smiling guy who, like, yeah, they say like doesn't always do well on tests, but tries really hard and like rallies people around him. And like, yeah, you would not be super surprised to see All Might like pick this dude. But he has a quirk. Well, Leo, so that's not necessary. He didn't have to. That's the thing, right? And we're going to learn more about this. All for One is there. There's a big reason why All for One works differently for Deku than it does for All Might. And All Might did have a quirk, the transformation quirk. Yeah. Yes, he was planning on giving it to someone with a quirk. So the reason why Deku doesn't become a big, giant, buff person is because that's not part of All for One. Or one for all. One for all, yeah. That's a fan theory. Is that, I'll say this. There's a point in the manga where Deku does something he shouldn't be able to do. And it's not explained yet. Or if it has, I haven't gotten there yet. But it's believed that Deku can do shit from like other stuff because like other people have used it. All Might would have passed that on too. I don't think so, because All Might can still, like, up until he couldn't, he could still go from the two phases of All Might. Like, obviously he could use one for all, you know, but that's not, as far as we know, Deku doesn't have the ability to do that. Like, he has the strength. Yes. Yeah, he can still, I mean, he still has his abilities, knockout style. So it's heavily implied that other people that had this, that had the passed down abilities of One for All, had other quirks as well. And it is a quirk that can be passed down. And the person that had it first probably only had that quirk, but other people have had other ones. Deku at one point later in the manga could do some shit that he cannot, that people were like, what is this? And then also, there's that moment where he breaks the mental control that he's under, and then he goes to All Might and he goes, well, it felt like All for One like was stopping me, and then All Might's like, I do not know what you're talking about. What are you saying right now? That's weird. And that, you know, and you could extrapolate from that he was like, oh, that's a thing that you're going to figure out on your own. I don't want to tell you about that. But I really do think that it's just like, oh yeah, no, the phase and strength thing, yeah, those two combined would have been, you know, he would have been able to knock people out of nowhere. Yeah, if he had been able to combine those two abilities. Um, yeah, no, it is a thing where like uh, most likely All Might is the the bulk up, have muscles, have the two bodies thing is an All Might thing, and some people didn't have that, including obviously Deku. Uh, and then it will be interesting to see, like, yeah, like I said, that's the origin of One for All. See, the power to pass on his quirk, but he had no other quirk until all of the One for All gave him the quirk to store power. Okay. Well, not grind style. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Instead, we have the story of someone that wants to do good things, doing good things with that ability and having the power to do good stuff. Who also, this is a big old fan theory, and I don't think it's true, but it's a big fan theory. Is that Deku did have an ability, and it was stolen. That some people that have abilities stolen from them by a doctor who was working for All for One, and that's because All for One steals abilities. That a doctor was helping, and the theory is that Deku had a quirk because so many people have them, uh, and the doctor like faked the X-ray that shows that you don't have the thing. Uh, that is one theory. Uh, who knows if that's true? Doctor Steele. Yeah, no. Who knows if that's gonna end up being the thing? Because it's not always that cut and dry, and it's probably, I don't know if it's a better storyline of the guy, I was supposed to have powers and you stole that from me, or it's better of I was never supposed to have powers until this happened. There's also there's also the theory that One for All, that All for One, I should say not One for All, that All for One is Deku's dad. I like the idea that like Deku's dad was just like a dude who had like a pretty okay amount of abilities, uh, and not that. I don't love that Deku's dad is him, and that was one of many things that he was working on. That's less interesting to me. And I do think that it's more interesting that he had. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's more interesting that he had a power and it was taken away from him, and like what life he could have led with a decent enough power that he would have still pursued becoming a hero with it. Uh, it's a shonen show, so his missing dad has to be like the most significant person in the world. Yeah, Leo. I mean, like it is a shonen show, but it is a shonen show heavily influenced by Western superhero stories, and the main thing is that Deku is Spider-Man, so most stories don't have they don't have Peter Parker's parents being important. Some do. Some they love to make. There's some people that really want them to be like spies that were killed or like something or other, and they really want to make it important. But because Deku's Spider-Man, uh, uh, yeah, this shonen breaks the rules of shonen. Yes. So in my opinion, because Deku is Spider-Man, I think that it's that his dad is just his dad, just a dude that like was there and like something happened. And look, here's the thing. Maybe his dad died because of a villain, and Deku doesn't want to talk about it. Like, there you go, great. Uh, the worst would be like, or like, it's the inverse of Terry from Batman Beyond, where he was injected with DNA to make him more like Bruce Wayne. And it's the inverse where he was injected. He was injected to like steal his quirk powers. And he's like, oh no, yeah, they took your quirk powers away. You were supposed to have those, but they were been too good. We stand Bakugo in this chat. Okay, well, mixed thoughts about Bakugo. No fuck. Yeah. So here's the thing. I will say I would agree with you, Christian, that Bakugo could easily be the hero of the story with a slight change. That slight change being that he didn't get his attitude because people thought that he was so great and so powerful. Because he's a very powerful quirk. Uh, if he didn't let things go to his head, uh, and instead like had to fight for the top, in a world where Deku had Midoriya had a quirk, and he was somehow outshining him, then I could see the possibility of him being like, oh, I got to be better than him. Instead, he's just always been pretty good, and then also probably never really thought about the fact that his lackeys growing up mysteriously disappeared. Yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah. So yeah. I like how slowly Bakugo is developing. Yes, I like that too. Right? They're not like pushing for him. Like he's gonna be the second best. If Bakugo was Vegeta, he wouldn't suck. Well, yeah, not grind style. Yes. The thing is, because he beat our best boy in a fight, you want to, and also look, I love that people just shut him the fuck down. Like they understand that while he acts like a villain, he's not a villain. But I love how his classmates are just like, oh, also no. You're the character that the comic relief make fun of. Like when his hair wouldn't part and he yelled his hair to break the part. Like I love that. I think that is one of that does save the character for me a bunch is the fact that people are just like, yeah. Okay, whatever, dude. All right. You going to yell about it? Or like Sue is just like, yes, his friendships are great. Or Sue is just like, well, that's why people don't like you. It's because you yell all the time. Because you got a bad attitude. He's like, oh, you want to fight? That like he's like, oh, I'm gonna be King Murder Death Explosion or whatever, and people are like, no, don't do that. Don't call yourself that. Just call yourself King Explosion, I guess, or Explosion. But like, no, don't say King Murder Death or whatever. Fucking relax, dude. Chill the fuck out. Because Beta knows he's number 2. Yeah, because he's fighting from the bottom, and he lives in a he lets his arrogance keep him from feeling all the emotions, and then when he does start feeling emotions, oh weird, new powers, he unlocks new abilities, gets to do cool shit, weird. Yeah, I mean Bakugo is also like. They don't spend a lot of time on it, but it is a thing to consider. Is the thing that while people don't necessarily say that, oh, your ability would make you a great villain, there are probably a bunch of people that are just like, you look, act, and sound like a villain. Like all the time he gets that, right? So like, that does fuck with you, right? You on the one hand, people are saying that your quirk is great and you're really good at using it and you've trained really hard and you thought of cool abilities, but also, damn if you don't think you are, like if you don't act like you're gonna turn out to be a villain. And I also bet that Bakugo pays attention to that a lot. I bet he pays a lot of attention to, like not necessarily what people say, but like what people feel when it comes to him. Because he doesn't want to be Endeavor. Because like Endeavor clearly like I don't know if he knows enough about that, but like Endeavor is will just never get over the fact that a guy from another country came in to become the best hero, and the fact that Endeavor knows that he is now the best hero because All Might had to retire, and he'll never get over that to the point that has he picked a wife so that their quirks would lead to and then they kept having kids so that he could genetically manipulate the best son or daughter, so that he could beat that generation. And then also his son is probably the best all-around hero. And then also, most likely, one of his sons is a villain. Like, probably that dude is his son. Well, I mean, we don't know a lot about those kids, right? The fact that that he is half and half, that he does have both powers, put him in a different class. Because the assumption is when your dad finds out, when Endeavor finds out you only have fire powers, or you only have small abilities and you're not a 50-50 hero, he probably stopped giving a shit about you, which is probably why that dude is his son, because he just manifested weird flames. He just manifested different flames, and his dad is like, this is not what I wanted. I do not give a shit about you. Or he tried to manifest them and couldn't. Toby, yeah. I mean, the belief, yeah. Dobby, yeah. Toby is the fake name that what's his name used in Naruto. That's the Akatsuki guy that is definitely not who he seems. Madara, yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap up in a minute or two. We got some fucking work done. So, like I said, head blades. Also, these shoulders. If you said, do these shoulder blades come off and he can use them? The answer is fucking of course they can. He can also use shoulder blades. The guy's got blades if he wants blades. It's all blades. So I'm not going to run an ad at the end of the stream. Instead, we're going to raid, because I said we would. I got to look up the name of this. So we are going to raid. But yeah. That tickle machine, Leo, I didn't even want to talk about that. That tickle machine seemed fucked up. I do like the idea of the guy that likes jokes, that can't really be a funny person, and then demands that people make him laugh, is a kind of a funny idea. And it's definitely a thing that he like absorbed from what's his name? From All Might, is the smiling through the pain. And then also Bubble Girl. I thought that was a robot. I thought she was a robot, but yes. All right, so we are going to go in. So some people's subscriptions seem to just run out today. If you need to auto renew through Twitch, please do so and let me know. She still might be a robot. Yeah. Subscribe if you can. We just dipped tonight. That happens. The middle of the month is often, or towards the middle of the month is when that happens. But yeah, if you want to subscribe, I would love that. We are gonna raid. I gotta get my. We'll go to this camera here. We are going to raid Joseph J. Brony. We are gonna go and take a look at whatever Dave Lang is doing over on his stream. And thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your evening. But yeah, we are... oh, that's right. That's not raid. Wait. That's what I want to do. No. Wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I want to do. Have a great night, everybody. And yeah. we're gonna enter the Lang zone. See what Dave's up to, because I don't do this enough, and it's nice. Have a great night, everybody. Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna start. It's gonna be leg day. So let's go raid.